Here are centered the hopes and aspirations and faith of the entire human race. You cannot appease or otherwise surrender to communism in Asia without simultaneously undermining our efforts to halt its advance in Europe.
Hello and welcome to the channel. Today, the plan is to put Mcarthur as head of the United States government and see what would happen. In order to do this, we need to create a fascist state in the United States, and then we will enact Mcarthur's plan of global hegemony. By the end of the video, guys, you're going to know how to go fascist as the United States as quickly as possible, and you will see the power of the United States as an offensive nation in Hearts of Iron 4. All right, so I've pre-set up the country here. As you can see, we have Franklin Delano Roosevelt as our leader. You have to play this mini game with the United States, and you need the green here to be greater than 50%. And you affect this by choosing lobbying efforts. Choose the small lobbying effort. If you need more House and Senate support, you can also grant statehood. This is going to cost you political power, though. We are going to hold focus until we change the government, and then that will allow us to go down the focus tree line of reestablishing the gold standard, and then we will go America first, ally with the silver shirts, and we'll go down this right side, and then down the left side, down to honor the Confederacy. Honor the Confederacy is going to allow us to be an offensive nation because it will allow us to get stability and war support so that we're able to do offensive wars. The next thing we'll get is War Powers Act, penalty stability modifier 20% for offensive wars. So that's going to be quite good if we are going to complete global hegemony. The biggest thing here is to get off undisturbed isolation. That's going to open up our economy. There are several ways of getting rid of undisturbed isolation with the USA focus tree. So you can go the giant awakes here. However, we're not going to be able to get past the Neutrality Act because we're going to have to be Republican and we're going to have the fascist government installed. The other way is to go the limited intervention focus. So that is going to require continue the New Deal, and then we wouldn't be able to go down the fascist focus tree line here. So that's not going to work either. Being at war allows us to get off undisturbed isolation. So that's going to be easy since we're going to be an offensive USA. We can also have over 50% war support. So we're going to be able to get decisions from Honor the Confederacy to get over 50% war support. And then we can also be in a defensive war, which is not going to happen. So that's how you get off undisturbed isolation. So the Civil War will be around 1938. So we will have a little time to ramp here. The best way to ramp as the United States is to simply build infrastructure in the areas with the most resources. And I'm choosing to build infrastructure in these states here because we will get the middle of the country when we enter the Civil War. So I'm not giving anything to the opposition when the Civil War breaks out. The other thing is I'm also building military factories in all the areas that we'll have during the Civil War. We're looking ahead over here, and we're building ports in the Pacific and airports in order to project our power towards Japan so that we could take out Japan as soon as the Civil War is over. We're also going to have events and decisions to take out Mexico as well as Canada. The only red herring here is that China gets a lot of war score. The earlier you can take out Japan, the better. And if you grind against Japan a bit, it's better because China will literally take most of Japan from you because of the war in China. They're getting a lot of war score out of that. Okay, going down further down the build here, we're just going to build all the ships and have them come out. We're going to be doing refits. I set up like this. You really don't want to give any good stuff to the opposition during the Civil War, so I'm just building kind of vanilla stuff here. We're down to one division on our army, and we're just going to exercise that army. We are not training any divisions. If you start training divisions and you keep them in the recruit and deploy screen. Half of the divisions will go to the opposition during the Civil War. We are exercising our navies. We're going to exercise all the air. We're not going to go intel agency for those of you who don't have the La Resistance DLC. At this point, I'm just going to start granting statehood because we will get congressmen and senators from that. The fact that we're holding our focus here also gives us extra political power. In terms of our naval doctrine, we're going to go down the left side of fleet and being doctrine, and then we're going to make some refits. The first political advisor that we're going to pick up here is Robert Taft, political power gain 15%. So the election of 1936 is always going to be November 9th, and you pick the Republicans. So this is going to give you Alf Landon, and then after that's over, you need to have enough Senate and House support in order to continue down the line here. After you get Alf Landon, we're going to go ahead and reestablish the gold standard, and then we'll go America first, and then we have when we have 10% fascist support, we'll ally with the silver shirts. So the first refit that I like to do is just upgrade the destroyers. All we're doing is getting AA2, and we're getting the light battery 2 for the light piercing, so it doubles the light piercing, and then we are able to pick up the editor, 5% political power gain and stability. And what we'll do is build refineries in all the 100 infrastructure areas. Okay, we get a protest in the capital, reducing our stability and war support. And we just completed ally with the silver shirts. So now we're going to go down to recruit the Free Corps. That is going to give us events and decisions to get extra troops during the Civil War. I'm not picking up any military staffers because they'll go to the opposition. So you will have events and decisions once you're starting to go fascist to intimidate political opponents. The reason why I don't go intimidate political opponents is it will reduce our stability. You can also search for foreign supporters. I would say it fails for me, in my experience, like 75% of the time. It's like a 1 in 4 type deal. So I just stay away from it. So we've gone down the left side of fleet and being doctrine. Now let's upgrade a submarine. We'll just put torpedo 2 on the submarine, and this will be our upgraded submarine. Pretty easy. Almost forgot to take off this torpedo debuff. We're going to go with night fighting. So the reason why I'm not doing army command spirits is because we're going to go fascist, and all of these will change. Okay, work with the Bund. Now we'll go with National Prosperity Program. All right, the Boston Rebellion. The series of protests against the president have at last reached a climax. No one will take them seriously. This will blow over. I don't think so, brother. Non-aligned becomes the ruling party. Fritz Kuhn becomes a general. And then immediately, we're going to start training the National Guard Division. And then we will edit the National Guard Division to have field hospitals and pump out as many National Guard divisions as you can. We'll take out the East, and then we'll go to the West. So this is the decision right here where you're going to create your own units. So raise the Silver Legions, and it only costs 10 political power. We also could suffer from strikes because the war support is so low. So we're going to go ahead and do war propaganda. And as you can see, we can get off of undisturbed isolation now and go partial mobilization. And then we can also upgrade our conscription law next. Rebellion spreads to the West Coast. The East Coast joins the rebellion. Okay, now we're ready to push. Okay, MacArthur offers to lead the government. Desperate times calls for desperate measures. So we now have Douglas MacArthur as the American Caesar. Division attack on core territory, 10%. Defense on core territory, 10%. The costs for all of our military staffers goes down. And let's wait till after the Civil War to go volunteer only. We might get some more recruitment that way. And at this point, we should be able to pick up political loyalty. Will give us stability. And then we should also be able to pick up, let's do professional officer corps for the experience gain. So 3,200 equipment back. And we got our guns and trains back. Okay, perfect. So now we're going to set up for war against Japan. Either Tokyo will be empty, Yokohama, or this other tile right here. And once we land, we could start attacking from land and sea. So we now have the Honor of the Confederacy decisions, which will increase our fascism popularity as well as our stability. So we're just going to go ahead and click through those. You know what? I think I'm just going to justify my own war goal. This is taking too long. So next we can go after Mexico. So this is all going to have to be pretty snappy. And as soon as we get the port here, we'll bring in the rest of the forces. So they don't even, it's completely undefended. That's crazy. And there it is. And China's in with us here. So what I've been doing is just taking the Tokyo area, and then we'll just try to get all of the Navy that we can. So actually 115 ships and the carriers, and boom, we got it, baby. So I don't get Iceland, but it doesn't matter because I have the UK, Norway, and part of France. So now we could literally just go up against Germany. There it is, baby. We cap the Axis. The Soviet Union would definitely be a pushover. Boom. All right, 1947. And this is what the world looks like. Oh, we actually did get most of Africa. Australia, New Zealand. All right, that's going to do it for this playthrough, guys. If I had paid more attention, I probably could have done a lot better than that, but I was playing kind of quick and dirty. I didn't want to make this like a 48-hour affair. We did it. The American Caesar rides again. OP USA. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you guys on the next one.